I hope you're all doing well today. I'm going to very quickly look at Barry Keoghan's chart. He's the actor out of Banshees of Inisherin and Saltburn. And after watching an interview with him on the Late Show, I want to put another late in that. I thought you are incredibly interesting. What caught my attention was his difficult childhood compared to his optimism and his drive to succeed, and what I guess is a very sort of what appeared to me like a very accepting and loving way that he accepted the women in his life, where that was probably where a lot of the difficulty came from. So the reason I want to look at this is for probably all of us to realise that we've all got some difficulties in our charts, all got difficulties in our lives, and how we, I'm going to say attack them, how we approach these difficulties is the making of us, probably is what I want to say. So to start off very quickly, I've guessed his ascendant, and I mean that guess. I'm going to go through how I've guessed it because it may help you if you're rectifying your chart for really early, very, very early decisions or choices with regards to how you start off. From listening to the interview, this is really sounds a bit silly, but he started talking about lists. Whenever I think of lists, I always think of Virgo. And I think that was combined with some sort of, I guess, intuitive look at what his looks, to be honest. I don't really know, to be honest. So I just stuck a Virgo ascendant here because that would be a lot to do with what he looks like. And he starts to discuss his life and how he's been in 13 foster homes. I think it was about 13. So there's lots of change in his life in his early years. So looking at his IC, which is your home and your roots, you've got Sagittarius, which is mutable there. So I think that could be possible. So I'm still going with this. As I said, it's not, I wouldn't stick to this, it's just the early starts. And the fact that he's, in media, his MC, which is how he's seen in his outward life and his outward career, is in Gemini, which is media. So I thought, okay, I'm going to stick with that for the moment. Sometimes you find people with the moon in the 10th house, but the 10th house being the career or your outward standing, can often live their intimate or inner lives in the public arena. So I thought I'm going to stick with that. I wouldn't actually go to an astrologer and say this is what I've finished with, but it's just like an idea. Also, we've got Jupiter here in the first house. So Jupiter, very close to the ascendant in the first house, will give somebody a let's have a crack at it type of attitude. And there were parts of the interview where he was saying that he's very good at pretending, which we'll come on to later, but it's almost very much, I'm going to have a go at acting, why not? I know that I'm good at pretending, so why not? Which is very Jupiterian. I'm going to wipe that away now, so don't listen to that. It's just some early thoughts. And I'm going to have a look at how does he come across with what I guess is a difficult childhood, how is he so positive? So let's have a look at his moon to begin with. His moon up here, possibly in the 10th, is in Cancer. So there's a really with Cancerian moons, there tends to be, for good or bad, I suppose, a very strong draw to mother. Very sort of yearning for a close link with mother, and moon is the mother and your inner emotions and what makes you feel at home in this life. So he's going to be somebody who's searching for women or comfort or security through emotions, I guess, there. But you've also got that conjunct Mars, so that's going to give it a sort of Aryan type feel. Is that the right word? I don't know, it's not, is it really? An Aryan type feel where there's going to be a little punch to that. There's going to be a little drive with regards to how he gets that met. So maybe a little rougher and ready with regards to how he gets his emotional needs met. You've got his moon, which is mother. This red line down here, the red lines are always slightly difficult. They actually are difficult. So opposite here, in the 4th house, again, trying to sort of solidify why I may have chosen the ascendant, you've got Neptune and you've got Uranus. These are big planets. The bigger planets are going to have a stronger impact on the smaller, faster moving planets. So Neptune opposite the moon often signifies a mother who's not there. It doesn't have to be just emotionally not there, which it probably is, but can literally not be there. I've got a friend with like a Neptune type moon whose mother worked in a pub and was often, and she really thought her mother was beautiful, very Neptunian. And her mum actually was really beautiful, but mum was like glamorous and always behind the bar in the pub, and so she didn't get close to her mum. So it can often be an absent but beautiful, or an impression of a beautiful type mother. You've also got here Uranus, which can indicate, especially if it is in the 4th house, but definitely opposite the moon, which is the same type of thing, to be honest, a mother that disappears, or you can't, there's some shock factor with it. So his mother died when he was about 12, 13, and he was in and out of, I think it was 12, 13 foster homes. But his view of these foster homes and the people that he met, the people that looked after him, even though possibly Sagittarius, there was lots of change, is incredibly positive, really, really positive, as in everybody that he met added to him rather than the change and the interference in his childhood and his emotions and growing up detracted from who he was. Now, this opposition, these red lines here, which tend to be friction, and it's definitely strong, has what I guess here in a T-square. T-squares are really important in crosses in charts because it tends to be the focal point of release. So he's got his sun in Libra here. There's a feminine feel to these, to his sun and his moon. So it's going to be through expressing himself, the sun, that he gain some form of equilibrium inside himself. That sort of going to act, going to express himself could somehow have acted in a release from what I guess is tension to do with early childhoods. I feel that tension is somehow dissipated, possibly if he has Jupiter here. So acting in some way or expressing himself will be very much a way forward to get away from what I guess is a difficult beginning. Now, you've got here, again, looking at this sort of difficulty here between mother and having a mother that you can't really hold, or a mother that, isn't there anymore. You've got here a lovely blue line. So this is going to be like a sextile and a trine to these Scorpio planets down here. He's got Mercury, his mind, conjunct Pluto in Scorpio. So this to me is possibly the bit that I think is his helping hand. His mind is strong, but it's got trines there, so it's positive and strong, so that he knows what he needs to do, how he needs to get there, and he's basically hell-bent on getting there. If this is true with this, remember that the Sagittarian sign is an arrow, which is focus. So just imagine that this is true. To have this mind conjunct Pluto, and Pluto is like strength, and it's very focused and very internal, strong emotions with the trine there. To have that, if it is added to the Jupiter there, is going to be focused with emotional control in his mind, which is when you hear him, watch the video, the Late Show. It's only 10 minutes long, but it really is interesting. And you've got here his Venus conjunct Pluto as well. Again, that's going to be his values and his sense of, I suppose, women, but what he finds beautiful is strength. So thank the Lord for the lovely sextiles, thank the Lord for the trines, especially to strong planets, and to do with the mind and to do with your values, because that's how we get on focusing ourselves as well. We can move away from the difficult parts of our chart. So you've got to use those easy aspects to be strong with ourselves, I suppose. Right, the last thing that I was going to say is that the Cancer moon up here, when his auntie is in the audience, and both his aunties are in the audience, and his grandma's in the audience, and he talks about them with love, and you can think that many children, as I keep saying, with this difficult beginning, could often turn away. And he talks about his mother with, love and respect. And in fact, he talks about Colin Farrell with love and respect as well. And the way that Colin Farrell he watched how Colin Farrell treated other people on set, and he said he learnt a lot of, sense of morals from him. So this is somebody who's looking to improve themselves and has got strength and focus to do that, and a real love for the women in his life, even though he's gone through those difficulties. So definitely watch the interview. If you just put Barry Keoghan in, I don't know how to spell it, it's Ceoghan, yeah, I do, into YouTube, you'll find it, Late Show, because it just is something else, I think. And I think that allows us to see our own charts as not being set in stone, but being almost a little jigsaw that we put together to find our way forward. Okay, I'm going to leave you there with that. I hope it helps. It helps you to see yourself or to get interested in astrology, because as the inward look at astrology allows us to see things differently outwards, and that's the beginning of a different journey, but something fascinating too. I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks, bye.